This is the HighlyEvolvedPodcast. I'm your host, Stefan. You can find me on Twitter and Gab.ai. Before we start, I just want to say this is a Real American Patriot channel for a Real American Patriot. If you're not a Real American Patriot, please exit the channel. And on that note, transmission will commence momentarily. How you guys doing? I'm your host, Stefan. And let me lower down the volume. Start this channel, alright? Thanks for tuning in. This is the HighlyEvolvedPodcast. Alright, this episode I want to discuss. Sorry, I'm going to scratch my nose. Like I said, this program is unscripted, unedited, unrehearsed. Alright? That means we're not bounded by any outside interference. Alright? I mean, anything could happen right now. I could scratch my nose, snot come out my nose or whatever, not. I could stop this program, but that's to show you how real this is. It's unscripted, unrehearsed, right? But in this episode, I want to discuss what article I read about abortion, right? About the Supreme Court justice. But let me put this article out for you guys so you guys can see this. All right, I'll leave a link in the description below. You want to check it out for yourself. Is an article from the Daily Caller. All right. It says Supreme Court strike compromise to dodge abortion dispute. This is my first time reading this, so we can read this together, and now I'll put in my 2 cents after we read this. All right. The Supreme Court reached a apparent compromise in an abortion dispute from Indiana Monday, keeping the issue off the dockets as abortion rollout 2020 presidential race. The justice reinstated a rule providing a humane disposal of fetal remains, but left of lower courts ruling striking down the state trade selective abortion ban untouched. In a separate opinion, Justice Clarence Thomas said the state have a compelling interest in ensuing abortion does not become a tool of eugenics. That's what it is, man. In my opinion, I think abortion is eugenics, killing stuff. What I believe, the moment of life starts in conception. That means when a sperm enters an egg. It's a process. It's not a cell anymore. It's the cell division. As soon as the sperm enters an egg cell, the cells start to divide. And it's a catalyst for a human to be developed. That's what it is. And to say you want to stop that, you're just basically playing God. That's what it is. For a human to play God, that's sacrilegious in my opinion. The Supreme Court reinstated Indiana law on Monday requiring abortion clinic to cremate or bury fetal remains. In an apparent compromise, however, the justice declined to review a second provision of the Indiana laws that bans abortion on the basis of sex, race, or disability. The 7th U.S. Court Circuit of Appeals said about provision which Vice President Mike Pence signed into law during the tenure as governor were unlawful. The 7th Circuit Court said Indiana had not identified a rational basis for its fetal tissue disposal regulation since fetus does not qualify for human as human being, and thus cannot be regulated to personal under law. That means what they're doing right now, because they don't want to bury it or because they're trying to not bury it or cremate it, right? That means they want to sell it for money. If you don't know by now, all these Planned Parenthood, they sell fetal tissue to vaccine company, pharmaceutical company to put in their vaccine. Not only that, they sell fetal tissue to cosmetic company to put in their makeup. You know, all this makeup, MAC makeup, Sephora, they have an increment of human tissue in their products, all right? And women are using this product without knowing, all right? In your makeup, there's fetal tissue in there. In your vaccine, there's fetal tissue. That's why they don't want to bury it or cremate it, because there's a lot of money, moolah, all right? There's a lot of money, all right? These companies pay a lot of money for these tissue remains. Regulated. The Supreme Court summarily reversed the funding and rarely uses the mechanism saving for decisions that are clearly wrong. quote, the court has already acknowledged that the state has a legitimate interest in proper disposal of fetal remains. The High Court's unsigned opinion read, the Seventh Circuit clearly erred failing to recognize that interest as a permissible basis of Indiana disposal law. Right? You had to create that thing. Right? The decision was narrowed and left of the court undone burden. Tested, undisturbed, further unsolidified the perception of compromise. In the 1992 Planned Parenthood versus Casey ruling, the justice said that the validity of the abortion regulation would turn on whether they impose an undue burden. The abortion cases in the undue burden of abortion access. In Monday cases, Planned Parenthood did not argue that Indiana fetal tissue disposal rule imposes an undone burden. Rather, and Planned Parenthood challenged the provision under a different legal test. You know why they challenge under a different legal test? Because they know they're going to fail on it. They're going to lose. That's why they did a U-turn and find something else where they know they could win, all right? That's what happened when they give up on something. When they give up on something, that means that they can't win a case on it, all right? The case was litigated, therefore does not implicate it. Our cases implied the undue burden test of abortion regulation. The opinion read, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Sonia Sotomayor dissented from the court decision to restore the disposal rule, but agreed that denying review of the trait-selective abortion ban was correct. Of course they would. These people are leftist judges. Should never get in the Supreme Court in the first place. Justice Thomas railed against eugenics. That's what this is. Abortion is eugenics. In a separate concurring opinion, Justice Clarence Thomas said the Supreme Court would eventually have to decide whether the trait-selective abortion ban are constitutional. He said the state has compelling interest in preventing modern-day eugenics. That's what it is. Abortion is modern-day eugenics. All right? What people don't know is that women can die from abortion. That's what people are not telling. That's what these doctors are not telling. Women can die from abortion. Not only that, you're putting your life on the line on a doctor. And what people don't know, that doctors are not perfect beings. They could make mistakes. What if a doctor is incompetent, slip his hand and did something that he's not supposed to do? Your life is on the line. All right? This is an unnecessary thing. Abortion is unnecessary. You can give your kids for adoption. All right? You can give your kids up for adoption. And you can put on your life on the line from a doctor you don't know. All right? Doctors are not perfect. They're imperfect beings. They could make mistakes as well. All right? Not people notice that the reason why prices are so high from surgery is because they gotta get the money to pay off their malpractice insurance. You know, doctors have a malpractice insurance. Like if they malpractice, did something wrong, the insurance will cover their legal fees from not getting sued. All right? Why do you think people can't sue doctors when they messed up? It's ridiculous. Doctors are not perfect. Doctors are not God. All right? Just want to make people that just can't rely on doctors. They're capable of making mistakes as well. They're not perfect. Thomas concurrence canvassed the early history of American birth control movement, saying that the campaign was intertwined with eugenics effort to reduce the population of racial minorities and disabled people. The argument behind the eugenics birth control, Thomas said, apply with even greater forces to abortion. Yep, it's true. The abortion pill as well. The birth control pill is basically a pill for allowing women to be whores, to have sex without consequences. All right, that's what it is. It's a whore pill. Sorry. Hold on. Oh, well, 1, 2. Sorry about that. I thought I had some difficulty with my mic, but let's continue. Quote, abortion has proved to be disturbingly effective tools for implementing a discriminatory preference that undergrid eugenics, he added. In that connection, Thomas noted that the abortion rate of fetal diagnosis with Down syndrome of urethra is over 9% in some European countries, while some sex-selective abortion of girls across Asia have produced disproportionately male population. That's what happened with abortion, right? Abortion lead to our crisis right now of low birth rate. Why do you think we have so much low birth rate? Because we're not producing enough babies. Because due to abortion, that's why we don't have enough birth rates for people to be in the work field to pay for Social Security. All right, it's all intertwined to each other, right? The reason why Social Security is about to be bankrupt is because there's not enough people out there to be in the workforce to supplement the baby boomer income. All right, to put money in Social Security. All right, people don't understand that. It's all repercussions. You reap what you sow. All right. Although Thomas stressed that the constitutionality of trait-selecting abortion ban remained an open question. No other justice joined the Thomas opinion. Of course, I praise Clarence Thomas. He's not afraid of anybody. He shouldn't be. Just, man, more power to Clarence Thomas, man. Mixed reaction advocacy group. The reaction on Monday decided whether, unfortunately, mixed among pro-life and pro-choice group. The American Civil Liberty Union, ACLU, the farce organization, you guys should not believe them, right? And to let you know who's in the ACLU, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she's in ACLU, right? She was a lawyer for them, all right? But I digress. Noted that ruling was limited to reach, but feared it could legitimate a recent push on the state level of enact a new restriction on abortion, right? Quote, while this ruling is limited, the law is part of a larger trend on state laws designing to stigmatize and drive abortion care out of reach, said Jennifer Deven of ACLU. This woman is godless. Whether it is total ban or law designated to shut down clinic, politicians are lining up to disseminate access to abortion. The Alliance Defending Freedom, a faith-based cause lightweight group, was pleased to fatal remain ruling was restored and disappointed that the court is not addressing the state ban on trait-selective abortion. Tragic, many state does not ensure the body is miscarried, stillborn, or aborted infant are treated with dignity, said the ADF lawyer. Denise Burke. Unborn infants should be disposed as a medical waste. Should not be disposed as medical waste when they are dying before death, regardless of whether their death is spontaneous or accidental or induced. We had hoped the Supreme Court take the opportunity to revisit the Seventh Circuit deeply flawed ruling, which endorses the lethal form of discrimination as long as the occurrence of urethra, Burke said. The ACLU responded Planned Parenthood of Indiana, Kentucky in Monday cases, while the ADF filed a amicus for a friend of the court brief in partnership with pro-life nonprofit group called the Radiance Foundations. Another abortion case in Indiana await action before justice, and despite relation to a state that law required a woman to undergo ultrasound 18 hours before terminating their pregnancy, like the ban on trait-selective abortion on fetal remain regulation. Lower courts said the ultrasound rules is unlawful. Submission of law briefing on ultrasound cases was completed on April 22nd. The justices have considered the petitions in private conferences on 3 occasions, but have not yet decided whether they will take the cases. The court will also grapple with Louisiana law called the Unsafe Abortion Protection Act in 2620, which required a physician who perform abortion have admitting privileges in nearby hospitals. Pro-choice legislator said the law is a stealth measure to end abortion. Louisiana said it is difficult for physicians to comply with rules. What's more, they said is admitting a privilege required does not provide a benefit for women and their medically necessarily. The justice stuck down the Texas admitting privilege to rule of 2016 cases called Women Health versus Heller-Staff, given the similarities between whole woman health and the Louisiana case the dispute is seen as an important measure for how the newly entrenched conservative majority approached abortion. And you gotta read the rest, right? What people don't know about the abortion, what people don't know about the Roe v. Wade is that during that time, the court was very leaning left, right? It's very leaning left, and the reason why Roe v. Wade passes is because the leftist Supreme Court allowed it to pass. If the court wasn't that leftist, all right, you know who appointed these people? Lyndon B. Johnson. He appointed all these leftist judges, justice, whatever it is, all right? This is one of the worst decisions that the Supreme Court ever made. They made, and don't get me wrong, they made some lousy decision, but this is one of the worst one. Because of their decision, it killed a lot of people, right? Depreciate the birth rate so much. They, if anything, of all the communities, it affect the black community the most, all right? Of all of them, it affected them the most. And look where they're at right now. Abortion is not always the answer, right? And then once they want to say that men should not get involved. Men should get most definitely involved with this because there's applied to them as well. It's a part of them. The sperm, that's theirs. Don't they have a right to say anything? If a guy they want to say that guys should not tell a woman what to do with their body, right? So if a guy advocate choices, that's basically telling a woman what she can do with her body. If a guy giving her choices, that means he's telling her what she can do, right? If you could advocate choices, then a man should advocate pro-life. I don't understand this. Oh, a guys cannot tell a woman what to do, but we could give them a choices. When you give them a choices, that's telling them what to do. You see the logic of that? And these liberals, these godless people don't understand that. When you give people choices, it's telling them what they can do. When you give them option, it's telling them what they can do. All right? And to say that men cannot tell women what to do. When you give a woman an option, it's telling them what they can and can't do. That's giving them choice. That's telling them what to do. All right? So by that logic, men could tell women not to have an abortion. All right? If you're going to read this, I'll leave in the description, a link in the description below. But it gets my blood boiling for men to say that, oh, you're men. You cannot tell what to do. Tell a woman what to do. All right. I get a lot of argument with guys like this. All right, guys that sit back and not say anything, that don't voice their opinion. All right, they're killing your baby. They're killing your offspring. What you should have a right to say it. You should tell that woman that you impregnated, like, look, if you don't want it, you could forfeit the baby, and I'll take care of the kid myself. You don't have to worry about child support. You don't have to worry about paying for the child. I'll be the sole responsible parent of the child if you don't want to take care of it. You know, women have that right to forfeit the kid and give the ownership to the male. Men don't have that option. If a woman forfeit it goes directly to the male. Right? Male don't have that option. They could give it to the father and he could take care of the kid, and the woman is not liable for any responsibility. Or she could drop off in the hospital and give it for adoption. That's what they don't understand. They're not spreading this knowledge of the option of alternative than abortions. And it's so sickening. These is a Luciferian practices. Abortion is, in my opinion, is sacrificial lamb. You're killing kids as a sacrifice. It's so selfish for a woman to abort a child. In my opinion, is an ultimate sign of selfishness, right? Especially if you are a mother. You're thinking yourself before your child. It's selfish. That's me. That's how I see it. All right. But at least it's showing some kind of sign with the Supreme Court that they're probably leaning towards discussing the abortion cases again within the near future. All right, that's why all these states are pushing all these abortion laws to make the Supreme Court take the abortion law, revisit Roe v. Wade, and reopen the case. All right, and that's a good sign, I think. But let me know what you agree. Leave it this comment below. And are you for or against it? Do you share the same kind of opinion as me? All right. This is a pro-life channel. All right. This is a pro-life channel, pro-God channel, anti-Democrat channel, anti-Luciferian channel. All right. No Saturn worshipping channel. All right. And the purpose of this channel is not to get another Democrat elected, not to spread all these, not to normalize all these insanity that we're facing right now. All right. All these Luciferians, devil worshipping, Baphomet worshippers. All right. That's the point of this channel. I'm not trying to get, money out of this. I'm not taking on donations. This channel is not monetized. That means I'm not bounded by any outside interferences. I mean, I'm unscripted, unrehearsed, unedited. I mean, I can say whatever heck I want without any outside interferences. If you like what I do, please like, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe, because when you subscribe, you encourage me to make more videos so I could get to more audience and spread the word and the news to warn people how satanic this world is. The physical realm right now is a devil's playground. All right, the kingdom of heaven is a real world. This is a fake. The physical world is a fake reality we're living in right now. All right, the devil controls this. That's why we don't have time. The devil is in charge of time. Chronos. He's the god of time. When we're in the physical realm, our time is very limited. So I want to use my time wisely to warn the people what type of world they're living in right now. It's a godless world we're living in. They're pushing all these transgender, all these agendas driven and trying to normalize things that shouldn't be normalized. All right. If you like what I do, please like, share, subscribe. I thank you for listening to HighlyEvolvedPodcast. And on that note, guys, peace.